Y'all Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
Man, I love Kofi. I love Kofi Kingston so much. Listening to that intro as we go in, and like just listing it off. Soda. Maple syrup. I forget what the other one was. I just heard it. I already forgot it. Guys, this is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show because we cannot figure this stuff out. That is our pledge and our oath to you. What was it?
Cannot, will not.
Yeah. Cannot, will not, won't stop. Started at the bottom, stayed at the bottom.
Now we here.
Started at the bottom, now we're here at the bottom. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah. Like if you drop like a brick, how it just slightly like bounces up. Like not like Super Bowl, but like a little bit. We're just there.
Yeah. Like it kind of lands on a rock.
Yeah. Like
and
if
is that?
Yeah. Like
elevated?
Yeah, old Simpsons when they're trying to abduct Homer with the tractor beam and it's just barely pulling him up like that. Just a little bit above it.
Yeah. Guys, I'm Marsh. You can find me at Ref Marsh on Twitter, at MarshRef on Instagram. You can find us at WOTR The Show on Twitter, at Wrestling on the Rocks on Instagram. Klump, who the hell is you?
I is Crybaby Klump. You can find me on them Twitters. Not often. If I am on there, assume it's because I need to sign in to something for some reason. Probably that my account's going to be closed up. But not often. Also, it's very, very... I mean, if you are seeing somebody hawking fake Ray-Bans, that could very well be me.
Oh, yeah, dude. I think you got a good thing going with those fake bands. Faux bands? Grim Reaper, what's up?
Ray-Bans.
We got Reaper in the chat. Guys, if you are listening on podcast, you can always join us in the chat and ruin the show, derail our thoughts, and be a part of the whole thing at twitch.tv/wrestlingontherocks. Mm-hmm. Give us the old like, the subscribe, the stars, the reviews, all the things. But whatever you do, buy us a drink. Right now, Klump, I'm pulling a half Klump. Oh. I got like a 3/4 Klump going right now. I'm having like a turtle head kind of Klump. By that, I mean I'm drinking coffee like Klump always drinks coffee. But I have a shot of Prapa number 12 inside of it.
Nice.
So it's like a quarter Klump. Klump, what do you got?
I have Coke. If this is your first time watching, you have no idea what he's ever talking about with coffee. Yeah, I have Coke. Good old American Coke. Not as good as... other countries' Coke, but
oh, dude, we're on the border too, so we get that cane sugar Coke. That stuff's so good, dude.
What sucks is it's getting like they're like, oh, it's special, so it's more expensive. It was so cheap. Like you go down, you would go down to Mexico and get Coke, and it's like this is not. God, I gotta say Coca-Cola, but like you'd get Mexican sodas to be fantastically cheap, but no, now it's like $4 a bottle, and it's not that much better.
Yeah, it's import, guys.
Yeah. It's that fancy
Not
Coke.
Not exactly import. But, yeah, I'm having coffee with Prepper 12 in there, dude. I was trying to wake up a little bit for the show. It didn't work. Let's see. So that's what's in my glass. That's what's in your glass. Guys, that's us. I think, anything. Klump, how you doing?
Massive burp as you said that.
Nice. You're master of the mute, man. Master of the mute. Klump, I'm going to get right into the news. I'm going to talk about a couple things up top. One thing I want to say, we're not sponsoring the show, but Mission Pro, which you can find at missionprowrestling.net, has a show at December 11th called Run It Back. We did sponsor them on their last show. We'll probably be sponsoring them in future shows, but the holidays hit hard. So, we're not sponsoring this one strictly for financial reasons, not because of any lack of support. Guys, this is a place that's owned and operated by Thunder Rosa. It's an all-women's company. Yeah. How am I messing this up? call it a federation. We'll go back to the territory days. It's an all-women's federation. Most of their camera crew and commentary and everyone, most behind the scenes is all women as well. I think there's one or two men involved, but I do think it's like her husband and the random guy. Also, our very own Dork Chop from our chat, who you, unless you've listened to every episode 1, have no idea who he is because he's been quite absent, and we hate him now. No, he went to the last one and recorded a bunch of stuff and cut together a highlight video for them, and sent it out to them. Was it last night? And they were loving it. Thunder Rosa was blowing up about it, and he couldn't believe it. So you can believe he'll be back to that show to watch more and record more for them. So
nice.
That's Mission Pro Wrestling. I think they're doing a good thing over there. And was it Jazz and Thunder Rosa are putting together a training dojo for women?
Dog Pound.
Oh yeah, it's called the Dog Pound.
It's opening at the end of the month, I think.
End of the month.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome, dude. Can you imagine as a young woman aspiring to be a wrestler, getting to learn from Jazz and Thunder Rosa?
Yeah, dude. Like it's
Dog with 2 G's.
Mm-hmm.
I said dude, not dog. Oh, there. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
No,
get
but
there.
like, yeah, it's. I mean, it's awesome. This is what you want to see. Is you want to see somebody who's like responded to being in the indies, creating something, and I like this. I mean, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I do think it's very bizarre. Dork Chop just came in and subscribed. I feel awful about those horrible things I just said about him. I don't know how he snuck in tonight with me not knowing.
I meant every one of them though. So just
yeah. It was the gimmick. The heat's not real. Fuck. He's gonna like unsub or something.
He has more power than that from the stuff he's taught us.
Oh, do you have the new emoji? The
Is
new
it new
emote?
emoji?
Check in no in the official one. It should be on the actual chat. Because it's a tier 2 emoji. I was hoping you would throw it out there.
Yep.
Chop, we're happy to see you through here. I do know it's Chop's birthday week. If you guys are on Twitch at dork_chop, it's his birthday week. He's doing birthday celebrations all week. And I want to say that Thanksgiving Day, he's doing a marathon of just him hanging out. And I think we'll be part of that at some point because he's a cool dude to hang with. Yeah, there it is. Give me what I want.
Nice.
We got anyone. So, anyways, man, this is going to be a rough one. I can feel it. I need more of this coffee mix.
It's not. I mean, at least wrestles were okay overall over the
The
weekend.
matches were all great. I think there was a lot of good matches this week. Let's get into real quick then. Let's give a cheers and a happy birthday to Beth Phoenix.
Oh,
Cheers, Beth Phoenix. They're making a new documentary about her, too, for the WWE Network. I'm really excited to see that.
that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Love ourselves some Dork Chop.
Isn't it? Would
see.
she be? I'm trying to
Go
think what other women's talent they've done. Like, I mean, that they've done like that kind of goes into that legend status where they're making like pieces about them. You know what I mean?
It's actually a new series called Icons, and it's got like Yokozuna,
That's awesome.
British Bulldog, Beth Phoenix. I think it does actually, in a sense, not that she wasn't there. I think it does provide almost a visual of elevation where it's all like, hey, in case you guys didn't realize, this is where she's at. You know what I mean? Especially with new viewers, young viewers who just know her as a commentator. Fantastic commentator, by the way, on NXT. I do think the more and more I watch more and more wrestling, I do think my favorite announce team every week is Beth, Wade, and Vic. I think they're so good together.
Nice.
As a team, right? Let's see. I just want to get all the stuff that's like not really gonna be big discussions that I want to just say nice things about. This one I don't think it's gonna be much. Mike Bennett signed with Ring of Honor.
Wait, hasn't he appeared in other promotions or?
Not really.
Like when
he
he's-
showed up, he did some stuff with Primetime Live. Their UWF, not UWF, United UWC, I think. Yeah. He did show up on a couple matches there. He had a match against Nick Aldis to kind of reestablish himself as like a top indie guy, and I'm sure it was good. I don't know. I mean, congratulations, and I hope he does very, very well. But I do feel like that I've got such a bad taste in my mouth for all the stuff that I saw of him that it really is one of those shitty cases where it's kind of like they might have actually ruined a really great talent for me. And so it's hard for me to be all like, oh, I definitely want to see this, especially when it's like, hey, you haven't seen Mike Bennett since all that horrible stuff. Do you want to pay $10 to watch him tonight? I'm like, well, we'll see. So he is going to Ring of Honor, which I think is actually really cool because they've been doing all the pure tournament stuff. There's been a lot more of just like true blue wrestling happening. I think it's going to be an awesome place for him to showcase that and probably rebuild his reputation for those of us who have a sour taste in our mouth.
I agree. I think that's awesome. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'm looking at. Wrestling news.
Trish Stratus announced today she's going to be in a Christmas movie. So cheers to Trish Stratus in being in, was it Christmas in the Woods? Christmas in the Rockies? I think it's the Rockies. So cheers to Trish Stratus for that. She said it's on her bucket list. I would say of all the things I've ever thought I want to do before I die, never have I thought Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So if it was on hers, fuck yeah. Get it. Someone's got to make those Christmas movies because I don't want to make one. Christmas in the Rockies.
Comes out Thanksgiving Day.
This comes out Thanksgiving Day here in America. All right, I just got a couple more. We're going to knock out. Klump.
Yo.
The NWA is back. They're back, baby. They're back on YouTube, which so far as I can tell, based off AEW, is the most important network you can be on is YouTube. They got a new YouTube show called Shockwave. I do believe this is because it's not likely to be happening in the GPB studios at all. I think it's because we're going to not be seeing a lot of the same faces we saw on Power last time we saw them. I think they're trying to reestablish their identity without bringing any of the, I don't want to call it baggage, but any of the pre-expectations you'd have. They can't bring Power back with it looking and feeling any different. So they've got Shockwave coming. The video they put out about it was very, very vague. It sounds like there's going to be matches. I don't know what it's going to look like. I wonder and suspect it might look a lot like their primetime TV thing that they've been doing, but just on a YouTube platform, which would be nice because it's a really nice setup they got going on over there. But they are coming back. They're going to be back on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock on YouTube. Klump, what do you think?
I like that. I mean, more content. We want to obviously see any more we can. So hell yeah. Their content that they've, and they haven't put out a lot. I'm happy to see, a return to the old form. That's my hope. More matches, less. I didn't like the kind of show behind the show stuff they were putting out. It wasn't great to me. I miss a lot of their talent. So I'd love to see who's still there, who's performing, who comes in. Like maybe we've seen a lot of talent be, signed with AEW. Maybe because we're still having this kind of working relationship, we'll see Ricky Starks. We'll see, these people. Maybe we'll see AEW talent go to NWA.
That's what I hope. Mm-hmm. I hope if they're going to have the NWA champion be an AEW superstar, I hope we see guys like the latest signee of AEW, Top Flight, also signed with AEW. And I hope that we see some of these guys, which congratulations to them as well. Dorkchop said it in the chat. As long as they can make it work, make money, and take care of their talent, more wrestling in more places is fine with him. And I agree. Fabtina does say it's hard to make money on YouTube, but getting that notoriety out there, visibility, giving those wrestlers a platform. Without NWA Power, I don't think we'd have AEW scooping up Eddie Kingston and Ricky Starks and Colt Cabana. Maybe Colt. Colt probably they would have. He's good friends with a lot of those guys. But Ricky, Thunder Rosa, Eddie, Allison Kay getting a platform? I don't know, man. I don't know if that happens without NWA. Not as quick. That's for sure. So I really hope that we do see more AEW talent pop up on NWA and maybe create some sort of like Battle of the Brands type concept or an invasion type deal. Sort of like how they started doing with the Villain Enterprises right at the end of Power before all this happened. Lean into something like that. Have a faction. Have Taz's faction come over and fuck up NWA.
Oh, yeah. Maybe something that could happen and...
Impact can get involved?
We haven't seen it too much because of things like question mark and Aaron Stevens, but maybe make NWA, because a lot of their matches did go to proper ends. They could inject a bit of seriousness. You'll have AEW talent go over there, and it's like, shit, they're having great matches, and it makes you connect with them more. Maybe they can make a working learning relationship back and forth.
Yeah, tighten up a lot of them screws over there.
Yep.
Can you imagine they try to do like a musical and NWA just like record scratch? But very excited to see NWA's back. Shockwave. I didn't catch the date that it comes back, but coming soon to a YouTube near you. Stay subscribed to the NWA channel. And Top Flight signed with AEW, dude. Did you get the chance to actually sit down and watch Young Bucks versus Top Flight?
I did not.
Okay. I think you should. I think you'll like the match. These guys also said at one point that they grew up watching Young Bucks because they are that young. They're like 19 and 20 or 18 and 21, something like that. They're kids.
I don't know.
Okay, but these kids were smooth. They were slick. You can definitely tell in their work that they idolize the Young Bucks. They're actually cleaner than the Young Bucks about getting to their spots where they ought to be. These guys look heavily influenced by Young Bucks and Ricochet. How do you naturally get from one point to another point? They had unlocked. They never seem to be in a weird place for no reason, which is something I constantly get annoyed about, especially in Young Buck matches. Why are they standing over there? Oh, they're waiting for the spot. There's the spot. That took a long time to wait for that. You know what I mean? These guys were a lot more naturally at that. So I do think that in some regards, I think, hey, maybe more Young Bucks isn't the best thing for them to really tune it up. But they're very, very young, and they're in a big company, and that's huge and awesome. No, before you say what you're going to say, I'm just going to read Dork Chop's thing. He said, Top Flight is like a better version of Private Party. They do the big, elaborate spots, but don't look like shit. Tons of promise. Okay. That's even harsh for
Down
me.
the middle!
I know. Klump, run wild.
Goddamn. I was going to say, I'm looking at their pictures on Twitter, and I'm like, God, they look like high school senior pictures, which isn't far off. And like, fuck Dork Chop, that's savage and amazing.
Yeah, that was savage. It was amazing. The other thing is, here we go. I'm throwing some pumpkin in this drink. We need to get more of this, by the way. We're gonna be out by Thanksgiving, and that's gonna make Thanksgiving a shitty day.
Okay.
I will make it shitty.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I believe it.
Yeah. More cream, the better.
No.
But let's see. Hold on. Private Party. So I wouldn't say that they just don't look like shit. I would say that they're a lot more coordinated and a lot less reliant on the other person. There's some of that stuff where it's like they're obviously cooperating, and Private Party is heavy in the cooperation and please help me do this move on you. And the other guy says, well, of course I'd help you do this move on me.
Yeah. They're fantastic.
So he says I really like Private Party's characters, but their in-ring work makes me mad every time. And that's I appreciate that, Dork Chop. Here's the thing I thought they did that was, to me, a bit of it, and I talked about it briefly in the last one. I really wish, with as good as that video package was and how much I liked it, that they just didn't say, well, we tweeted at Young Bucks and asked for a job, and they basically said yes. And you're like, okay. But that's for another show.
That easy.
Yeah, exactly. If it's that easy.
Can you guarantee 42 a year? Cool.
But that is for our Thursday night chaser show. Yeah, can you do 32?
Which we did not have this.
We are not likely to be doing any kind of chaser-like show this week. If we do any kind of Thanksgiving thing, it'll just be because me and my brother are bored and want to hang out on Twitch. So if we do a show, it'll be because me and my brother want to hang. We'll make it a family affair, probably talk about old wrestling. But we're not going to be doing a review necessarily because Klump doesn't want any part of us around Thanksgiving. He says the holidays are for people who make him happy, and that's just not us.
Holidays are for family, not bullies.
Not bullies.
I mean, with my luck, I'm going to be somehow roped into cooking. I'm like, okay, that's not...
Yeah. Damn it. Let's see. I'm going to read this final thought by Dork Chop about AEW, and then we're going to move on to the last thing. Although Grim
Dork
Reaper
Chop
really
final
wants us
thought.
to talk about Drew McInfart. Grim Reaper's in the chat just dying for us to talk about Drew McInfart, who is, quite honestly, could have been the name of our champion on this show for ever since first episode.
Yeah, you know we'll get to it.
Oh, I cannot wait to Drew
upsetting.
McInfart all over this thing.
It's upsetting that a slip of the tongue beat what would have been our joke. Like,
Yeah, but here's just it. That joke doesn't work without the slip of the tongue. You can't just go around calling him Drew McInfart and not sound
yes,
like you're
you
being
can.
dumb.
Have you been in 5th grade?
Yeah, but it sounds dumb in 5th grader, but once there's a slip of the tongue, it's canon. It works now. If I just been calling him Drew McInfart, they're like, oh, why don't you just call him Drew Poopy Pants? And you're like, oh, maybe I will. And then where have we
Drew
got?
fuck.
Yeah.
Just keep
Dorchop does say,
face.
that being said, Top Flight had one of the better introductions for a new talent that they have done, which I 100% agree. That promo package was much better than just roll someone out there for no reason and wonder who they are because I don't watch all the indies. 100% times 2, still 100% because you can't have more than 100% of something. That's the entirety of the percentage. I agree with Dorkchop on that one, that this was the best introduction they've had of everyone. I'd even say it was better than the introduction of Thunder Rosa, although I liked that they left that little mysterious edge to Thunder Rosa. This made me rooting for someone who I didn't know before going into it. So, really good job on that. I just wish they didn't say, we tweeted at the Young Bucks and now we want a Young Buck match, and the Young Bucks said yes. And Young Bucks went, yeah, we could kick their ass. I don't care. Send them in.
I'll do that.
Club.
I mean, like, hey, I'll go in. Like, I'm a bigger guy than either of you. Like, by weight, I weigh probably more than both you sad little bastards. Just beat me up. You'll look better with your weird way of trying to be heels, and then, yeah.
Klump, I wanted to get your take on this because I've been talking about it for a while. Cameo for the WWE has showed up. On Cameo, suddenly we got Undertaker on there for $1,000 a pop. They sold 30, and they sold all 30. They made 30 grand on the Undertaker, and a lot of those clips were not that long, man. 2 minutes or less. Some of them were less than a minute. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But they wore all Undertaker. Once you go to WWE on Cameo now and you look up WWE, a list of people shows up, man. You got Undertaker, you had Lawler, Mandy Rose, Ric Flair, Street Profits, Mojo, Robert Stone. There's a bunch of people popping up on Cameo again. Kayla and Charlie both are back on Cameo. Some of their prices are the same. Some of them are a little lower. Some of them are a little more expensive. Could this have been what I was postulating all along? That they just wanted a way to contract this stuff so these people are easier to find? When I look up WWE, boom! They all come up.
You could have looked up WWE before and it'd still all come up.
No, they don't.
Because they were.
I did it before and they didn't.
It did fairly well though. I mean, if they put it in their hot link, or basically in their links, it would hit. I get you though. I mean, my only thought, and I'm not going to try and shit on this because it's about time it's good. Give these people give your talent more avenues to make money, more ways to grow merch, and I can get your argument. But I think one thing that might be just a bit light on it that we could hit back on it is, well, how much is being taken? That's my only thought here. Is whereas before with Cameo, we knew the split of the money was Superstar and Cameo, unless they had a crew with them performing. We'll see. With WWE, how much of that is going to who? And that's, it may not be a lot. It may be a fantastic deal. My thought is there'd be no reason for it to not to affect them negatively, like incredibly negatively, and be like, yeah, here's your buck for the $120 we made. But it also does, it isn't transparent. And that's the only thing I kind of, and they don't need to be, but I'm like, yeah, but I don't know, saying it makes it easier to find. I feel like a better way of saying it is we're giving this back to them with our controls, our ability to ensure that, they meet our standards. They're not, and that I can get more. That's a better argument to me than like it's easier to see. That's just all I think.
Yeah. Well, let's look. Dorkchop says it in here. Prices may be the same, but does that talent keep 100% of it is the question. That's all I want to know. Fabtina says a lot of top talent is doing very well. Dorkchop says if WWE got their grubby little fingers in there, then I think that's pretty fucking carny. Fabtina says they aren't all making less than 50K like the new NXT talent. These are all good arguments, and bottom line, I don't understand contracts. This is a contract deal. You're dealing with personas selling their voice and persona behind the company's back that owns the persona. A Big E cameo was never anything other than, oh, happy birthday. It's always been the talent and the character. If WWE turned around and said, hey, wait a second, are you selling our fucking image for 100% of the money there and not even talking to us about it? I can understand from a business standpoint where they might want to say, how about we talk about this before we just do a bunch of this? Mm-hmm. Them getting their hands in it is no more than any other massive company monitoring their talent in some way. Remember all the Disney stars? How much Hillary Duff couldn't even do movies until long after her contract expired. Once you're contracted to Disney, they just owned you as a celebrity. You couldn't do non-Disney movies. Harry Potter, that kid, he couldn't do anything but Harry Potter till several movies in because the contracts worked out a certain way. Mm-hmm. This is a character. It's a persona. And if the talent were literally going behind the company's back to sell that off stage, why wouldn't the company get involved? I don't think that's carny. I think, hey, it's awesome for us to be concerned and care about the people we care about and the wrestlers we care about and want them to do the best they can and to make the most money they can because they are tearing up their bodies for us and we appreciate that. And I love that the passion here is because of how much we appreciate that. But we're also all not employment lawyers and we need to relax a little bit when we say things are right and wrong and say, oh, look, the company does seem to be sorting something out because people are popping back up on Cameo. You do make a good
point
wouldn't
there.
Be surprised real quick if part of the reason wasn't that because we kept noticing it, and I'll let you say your thing, is we were noticing that like when Raw was on, AJ was on Twitch because he was on SmackDown. And then when SmackDown was on, you'd have like Ronda Rousey on Twitch. I mean, Mia Yim and stuff and Dakota Kai. Like you had wrestling talent turning on their Twitch while WWE programming was on. Why wouldn't you as a company say, hey, wait a second. People are tuning into our program to see our talent. And here's our talent literally streaming to make money 100% off to the side under the same moniker. Most of the time, the same character. And people are watching you because of this at the same exact time. Why wouldn't they say, hold on, let's put a stop to all of this real quick and figure out a middle ground or figure out what's right and wrong or just figure out if we're bringing it back or not. Like, I can understand a company saying this is out of hand and we need to figure out the right way. Because the other thing is it would do, let's say that AJ was on SmackDown and every Raw he was streaming Twitch and then all of a sudden one Raw he's not. Is that going to start causing rumblings? Oh, is AJ moving to Raw? He's not on Twitch today. Boom, AJ shows up. Oh, cool, we ruined the surprise because you fucking Twitch every week. Dorkchop says, well, in AJ Styles' case, he owns that character so he can tell WWE get fucked. I don't think you understand contracts either, Dorkchop.
Entertainment contracts.
Yeah. Klump. It's all yours.
What I was going to say, like, I think, and nobody needs to do this. I think now saying this regard to contracts personas, it doesn't have to be a positive negative, but that's the argument I think makes the most sense to say. Yeah, it's this. It's a fairness. It's the ownership we have over the personas. It's the presentation of them within WWE bounds. Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want, and I know they wouldn't do this because there's no reason for them to do it. But with that little bit of stank that's going on right now, just say, yeah, like almost release an earnings report or have people have people, be able to talk about it. My hope is that it's high,
yeah,
they're taking nothing because they really don't need to, it's, and I think unfortunately that's, the thing that a lot of people are thinking of because it's kind of, it came up in such a weird way. It came up in such it was portrayed a lot as like, infringing on money, but I have always felt that that's my concern, but also I do understand and have agreed with your kind of like long-term viewpoint, which is, yeah, but you, as a company, it makes no sense to hide or it makes no sense to let people do things that might damage your brand, especially if they're working with what you own or maintain. In experience, we've both been at companies where that's been a conversation. Like, you cannot present yourself in a way that negatively affects this company or purports you to be something that you are, and that's fair. So, yeah, I think.
Yeah, that
I don't
one
know.
flight attendant
I
lost
want
her
them to be more
job for that
transparent.
picture on Instagram the one time because she was in the flight.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I think part of it, like, my hope, and it's not necessary by any means, but it would be cool if WWE, in awareness to this, kind of was open about what it was, why they did it, like in an earnings call. Like, I hope somebody asks the question in an earnings call how much money we're bringing in, and they kind of proudly say, we're not taking any money in this. In terms of, like, it's a flat-based percentage. The talent is getting this of what they own, and they get to dictate their pricing. Like they could explain this more, and I think it would look really awesome.
Yeah. I don't even think that, personally, do I think that they need to take 0%, because you are effectively. Mark Calloway didn't create The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Big E didn't create Big E. You know what I mean? Like, they are literally creations that happen with creative under contract. I mean, I've worked with companies that if I had made an app at home, it could potentially still belong to that company because the company was a software company. And if you do something in that realm, even, sorry, they own it. They own a lot of intellectual property. Intellectual property is a very complex thing. And at the end of the day, I don't understand contracts. Dorkchop does have something he wants to say about it. He goes, what really seems to me is, big picture-wise, a lot of the WWE talent were already locked into contracts that maybe didn't have the language to curtail streaming and Cameo, etc., because those platforms maybe weren't viable ways to make money when those contracts were signed or outside of the company's radar at the time. It's one thing to write things into contracts, but it's another to add stipulations retroactively and ban practices that weren't an issue before, unless they're an issue now. That's not what Dorkchop says, that's what I'm saying. If it becomes an issue, then now it's an issue and we have to deal with that. Because you can't, like you said, let your brand get damaged in any way because a thing didn't exist when the contract came out.
Yeah.
And Dorkchop says, but no one knows what's going on for sure. And that's 100% bottom line. We don't know what's going on for sure. I do think the conversation is a lot more complex and than it is simple. And I do think that there's a lot more to it than, well, WWE would not get a single penny for anything that the WWE employees make. What? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a conversation for them to have more so than anything else. And we've even seen, let's see, all I know is that contract signings always end violently, Grim Reaper says. Yo, dude, that's a good point. If every contract signing in the WWE was just like their televised ones, I'd be thrilled, dude. I couldn't wait to sign a contract with them. You imagine you're like sitting there about to sign a contract, you're just like looking around, like, who's gonna throw me into the thing? You're like,
well, like your ability to negotiate is like you just throw like an HR person through a table. Okay, I guess we'll just let you work indies, or you could do that cameo stuff. Don't worry about it. He beat the shit out of me, Frank.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah, he beat the shit out of me. Dorkchop does say, I'm a pro-union commie scumbag, according to my father. Do you guys have the same dad? Are you guys brothers?
Right?
Yep.
Well, hey, no, my dad is a pro-union commie scumbag, but like, so am I.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He goes, so I'll usually take the talent side over the companies in these situations. Dorkchop, because you've been Hollywooding it for so long, and big star Hollywood Dorkchop. Big star Twitch phenomenon Dorkchop. You've missed a few of our conversations. Our producer has a degree in union and labor stuff. It's complex. All of it's complex. So it's not that we're against unions, but we also know that there's two sides to unions. I've definitely been a part of several unions myself in the different career paths I've been on. And that's part of my argument, is that you don't know the union's focus. I've been in a union that was reducing benefits for the company and trying to get away with it in other ways where it's like, oh, yep, you guys lost all this dental, but you're allowed more overtime. And you're like, that was your negotiation? You just don't know what the union's going to stand up for. And I do think that the union is also not always the answer. It's always on the table to talk about, I think. And in this case, it's not always on the table to talk about. But you just don't know. Some unions are created to protect the company. Some are created to protect the employee. And that's my fear, is that it's too easy for us to say, well, if there was a union, this wouldn't happen. You don't know that.
Sometimes they're just as bureaucratic as companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes they're just as bureaucratic as companies. For all we know, the union could have stepped in and said, hey, we want medical and we want third-party everything. And then walked out and said, hey, guys, we got you medical. All your third parties got to get shut down 100% and it's not coming back. You just don't know. You just don't know. So I do think that, yeah, unions something that should be talked about, but I also think that, like, hey, unions are just as complex as contracts, and I don't understand contracts.
Especially in entertainment.
Especially in entertainment law and employment law. And in such a weird world as wrestling. I think that's what makes it so fascinating, is that wrestling is so much different, although so much the same as so many other careers. It's an amalgamation of so many careers that it's like its own world. That's why we're the WWE universe, dude. I don't know what AEW calls their fans. Probably chumps. Marks, if you ask me. Dorkchop says, yeah, my mom was in the teacher union for 30 years, so I've heard it all. See? Oh, yeah, Dorkchop says Marks for sure. Greenberg says, I want to be part of the Up Yours union. They can take care of you. They take care of you? The Up Yours union? Is that what they say? Hey, who's the head of the Up Yours union? Would that be Drew McInfart? Yes. Woo! Dude, I got it. Klump, did you hear me?
Yeah.
Klump, did you hear it? I said Drew McInfart.
I did, motherfucker.
Dorkchop says,
I was gonna throw something to Dorkchop real quick though. Or
Go
like,
ahead.
I line with what you're saying too. Like in my view of it, like in an ideal world would be, and I do side with talent. Like I typically will side with the employee over the employer often. I don't feel like I'd see this go any other way than the way it went. You know, which is why I'm like, hey, they're doing something, and I hope that it's to the benefit of talent overall. But ultimately, I'd like to see a lot of these questions, the conversation be had, a lot of questions answered, and I'd like to see those benefits come out. But hey, at the very least, this is something that's there because I was, my view of it when they first closed it down was for people who you don't see on TV as much, who aren't able to tour. Hey, that's something to make money. So
Yeah.
to give them this back in any capacity, I'm okay with. Now, also, if this is a point to have a discussion or in the future negotiate or talk about it, I think that'd be very smart. And yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to it. I think here's the weird bit to me is I wonder, for me, if it's as close to their contract as royalty money is. You get this percentage per shirt, you get this percentage per cameo, if it's the same royalty umbrella or not. That to me is the more fascinating bit because, I don't know. I just have no idea. But I do know that some of these guys make more in royalties in a month than I make a year. Mm-hmm. So I know that the royalties aren't shit. We might all say, oh, yeah, they make 25 cents on the shirt. I don't know if that's true at all. That's fucking made up. I want you guys to know I made that up. That's what makes me a wrestling journalist, is that's now fact. It's 25 cents on the shirt. I'm a wrestling journalist now. Klump, you can approve of that. I'm a wrestling journalist, right?
Nah. That term doesn't exist until I otherwise designate it as being real. Right now, there's no such thing as a wrestling fucking journalist.
All right, I'm a wrestling hack, and I'm saying
there, thank you.
25 cents a shirt. Fact. Facto mundo. I've read it because I wrote it down a minute ago in my notes.
God damn it.
Whatever the percentage is, I want to know if it's relative the same to the other platforms or not. I just don't know. I think it'd be interesting. But some of those guys, even if they do make what we would perceive as a small percentage on a shirt, by volume alone, is nothing to scoff at. You know what I mean? Dorkchop does have something else he wants to say before I think that we maybe move on a little bit. And by the way, I know you guys are huge proponents of the talent. I just filled up my glass of ice with a big WWE logo, and I'm here for the company, strictly.
Company man.
I'm here for what's best for business, Chop. Remember that. Next time you're at Mission Pro.
And Vince Marks even have like their own way of phrasing it. This is great.
Yeah. Dork Chop does say there has to be a compromise at some level. The company may own character IP, but they don't own their employees. People have to have a way to spend their free time, whether it's for monetary gain or not. If they have to do it under their real names, under screen names, it's not connected to the wrestling IP, then so be it. They might lose some name recognition right off the bat, but wrestling fans are determined they will find them. And then he called me the real shill. It's possible. I feel like Sam Roberts is a bigger shill than me. I can't shill as hard as he shills. But I'm still a big fan of Sam Roberts. I'm just throwing it out there. But I think that there could be compromise. I think that it's a lot more complex than all of that. And I do think that what I liked a lot about, I believe, was it Mia Yim or Dakota Kai, where 100% of everything they made on Twitch from the time they started it to the time that I think they finally closed it, if they did, went to a specific charity. It was all charity every time. And that to me is pretty fucking cool. I would love to see more stuff like that too, where it's all like, hey, Sami Zayn's going to play Among Us for a while, but all the money's going to Sammy for Syria. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they got to choose from a particular set of charities or something, you know? Maybe they're like, hey, you can do what you want, but hey, I don't know. But I don't know if that's even the move. I just remember thinking that was very cool, especially from an NXT talent, because it was one of the two of them when they were both in NXT. And they notoriously aren't making as much money as the rest because I don't understand contracts. So, let's see. Klump, anything else you want to say about any of that?
I feel pretty good. I got my piece in.
Yeah,
I got it last week. I got a segment. Dork Chop, get on my level.
Yeah.
I am the only wrestling journalist.
That's a good point. He's a wrestling journalist, and I am a self-proclaimed rumor starter. I think it's going to make me big time. I'm going to start a big rumor.
Meltzer's done decent with it.
He's done all right. What are you looking at me for?
Some people showed up in Impact.
Some people showed up in Impact right now. We have... Oh, no.
What?
So Jazz is teaming with Jordan Grace as her tag team partner in the Knockouts Tag Team Title Tournament. And also, as seen prior in NWA, you have Ashley Vox. And I don't recognize her tag team partner, Delmi Exo.
I believe they were partners before.
I believe they were too, but not in NWA.
Yeah.
But Ashley Vox and Delmi are now... They're performing tonight in Impact. I don't know what that means contract-wise because I don't understand contracts. But Jazz is tagging there, and I think that her contract is... I think she's doing the other thing, so I don't know if that's got to be like a short-term thing. But I guess we'll see. Dork Chop just wants to work the hard cam one day. Dude, your camera was so much better than their hard cam. Don't tell them I said that, but... What? The thing is if you're going to work their hard cam, you got to bring your cam.
But I'm excited for Ashley Vox.
Ashley Vox, it's really cool to see her on Impact. We'll see what she does with it.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I'll ask you what you think of this, because I've seen a lot of battles back and forth. Klump, what do you think about them still using the term knockouts to talk about their women's division?
I don't like it. I feel like it's the argument that would be made is that it's a term we defined and that it refers to how hard hitting wrestling is, which I kind of find laughable as I think about it. I mean, it harkens back to what knockouts came out of us TNA wrestling, and TNA wrestling was meant as kind of a reference to the idea of TNA. A lot of people have said that. I don't really like it. I think there's better ways of saying it, you know? It's, you know, you can own things, and, you know, you can definitely own that sexuality or sexual, I don't want to say sexuality, the sexualization of female performers was a big component of women's wrestling, and try and make it a positive. But I don't know if they're doing that or if it really serves as a benefit. I think you'd have to do more.
Yeah, I'm not personally a fan of it. I don't know. Like you said, I think it does harken back a lot to the Divas thing. And I even know that there's a lot of women who were around in the Divas era who goes, Divas wasn't a bad thing. I don't think that it necessarily is negative. I think that there's a lot of negative around it. And I think there's a lot more positive in getting away from it than there was positive by finding empowerment within it. There is empowerment and positive. Oh, God damn it.
Positivity.
Power positivity.
Oh my God. Oh, Klump, I'm
Just
sorry.
peanut butter.
I talked over that a little bit. We didn't get to catch it all. There is a lot of positivity to be found in finding empowerment in terms that would otherwise be degrading. However, I personally find more power of positivity and empowerment by finding ways to move past things that could otherwise be determined as degrading. I think that I saw the women from the Knockouts just beat the shit out of this dude verbally online because he was all like, can we move past the Knockouts and start calling them wrestlers or talk about them as stars? Can we do something else? And just all of the women in the Knockouts division were like, fuck you, dude. They said, we find empowerment in it. We think that it's incredible. It's this and that. It's a tongue-in-cheek entendre. It's literally a double entendre. We think you guys can punch, but we also want to fuck you.
Yeah.
What? Mm-hmm. No. Why does it have to be part of the headline? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and Dorkchop says it here, any connotation other than women seems to just be condescending these days. If you need some goofy name to sell your women's division, then it probably needs more work than AEW's.
Yeah,
Oh.
heels? Come on.
Yeah, heels. Come on.
Get it? Because heels.
Get it?
They wear heels.
Get it, heels? What do they do, bake sales?
Get the fuck out.
Sales.
What dumbass company's calling them heels?
AEW.
Oh God. Really?
Although
I need to
Grim
watch
Reaper
more of
says
this
the
shit,
smoke
but
is
then I
better
don't
than the
watch
power of positivity. It's fucked up, dude. Too soon. Too soon. And Dorkchop says he's an AEW shell. But yeah, I think that I think it's like that. If you're using a double entendre to sell your women, maybe you should stop selling women
Yes.
and start selling wrestlers who have something important to say.
It's a bit old hat. It's unnecessary now, and if you're gonna make the joke, you got to do other things. If you're gonna make it an argument that it's being owned or that there's a benefit to, you need to do other things to make it better. And I think it's if the Knockouts division meant a lot, we wouldn't have made such a big deal about Tessa going into the men's division.
I was about to say that, dude. Like, this is the company that strapped the world title, took it off of Brian Cage, the Machine, and put it on Tessa Blanchard to say she can represent the company of wrestlers as the face of a wrestling company. She got out of the Knockouts division because she was bigger than that. Why can't all the women there be bigger than that?
And that's exactly it. It's like, why is this person bigger but not everyone?
And I get it. Like, I thought it was crazy they were eviscerating him, just being like, we find power in it. Yeah, you kind of have to. You don't have a lot of choice. You either do or you wallow in it. Dorkchop says Knockouts is also the name of a strip club / sports bar in my town, so yeah. Also, Dorkchop, how are their wings there? Fabchina says, I was about to mention the stripper argument, but thought nah.
Do they have a 24-hour omelet bar?
Yeah. What is their lunch special that's your favorite? Of which day of the week do you prefer specifically, Dorkchop?
What weekday has the best shift?
He's like, I wouldn't know, but I'm not going on Tuesday. I'll tell you that. He's like,
You might see bullet holes.
Don't call me out like that, bro.
yeah, Dorkchop, don't call me out like that, bro. Yo, we had one out here for a long time called the Candy Store.
Oh God.
That caused issues though, because I didn't realize what it was even. I was like, damn, that's a big old candy store. I was like, I bet you I could find that German chocolate I haven't had since Germany. That place is huge. As I parked and started walking towards it. I'm like reading the sign a little bit. I was like,
Oh, no.
this is not the candy I thought it was.
But I'm going to go in and confirm.
That's how I first knew about it, because my bus drove by it going to school. So when I got older and I had actually gone, like, because I moved on and all that stuff, and I came back to town, I was like, you know what? I bet you the candy store, that place was enormous. I bet you they'd have that German chocolate. No. Not that kind of chocolate.
I'm starting to wonder if Raiders Reef isn't like a pirate-themed restaurant.
Yes. That's true.
Sc-
And Dork Trap says,
unless you
Mom,
get
I want to go to
Scoop
the
It
candy
Epi.
store. Yo, I've been in cars with that conversation. I think Kevlar said that. I think Kevlar talked to his mom about trying to get to the candy store before. And she was like, no. And he thought she was just being mean.
When you guys
I was being real.
you should clarify.
Probably both.
Okay.
Probably as a kid and probably as an adult, he asked his mom to take him. He's a family
Ew.
man. Let's see. Grim Reaper says that would have been
Ew.
German chocolate of a different kind. See? It's a different kind of cake.
Is that a cake farts joke? Good job.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bouncer, Drew McInfart.
Damian
Oh.
Priest is DJ.
Let's see.
I don't know what he's doing there, but Damian Priest is at this wrestling strip club.
Yes, he is. Dork Trap says,
don't mean-
goddamn, Mom never takes me to the candy store. Yeah. Drew Mac and cake farts. Dude, I'm on board. Keep them coming. No Drew McInfart joke is a bad Drew McInfart joke. That's all I know. I kind of feel like Drew McInfart has been the platform of our show since day one.
Yep.
This being episode 1 doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But previous episode 1s as well have been waiting for this moment to call our champion Drew McInfart. Oh. Oh. It's a good day. Yeah, yes, this is our first show. Klump, we did a lot there. I think that set the mood. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Klump, did you highlight SmackDown or did you watch chunks of SmackDown?
Watched a little bit here and there, but not crazy, man. I'm not going to be the best. Yeah.
So we'll talk more about Survivor Series than we do about the shows, but let's see, in the Drew McIntyre Roman Reigns build to
I did
Survivor
like that a
Series,
lot.
that was a cool promo.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Roman Reigns. And also, was it just me? Or did Roman Reigns suddenly, not in a bad way, but look like 30 years older? Like all of a sudden, he just looked like this wise old man to me. Not like old. He just looked like battle worn.
It's his cadence.
His cadence.
It's his posture, his nonverbal and verbal movements.
Yeah. Yeah, he came off like a different,
He looked like the seasoned pro.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden you're just like, oh, you're not the fucking young upstart. You're not the guy they've been pushing down their throat. You're just the dude who's been sitting at the top for so fucking long. You know this.
Method acting, man.
Yeah. Acting? Dude, I loved it.
Mm-hmm. What was that line
Drew
that
being
Roman had?
smug as shit, that little piece of shit, Drew McInfart.
Yeah. Like basically right person, right place, wrong time. Like, hell yeah.
Oh my god, dude. So good. And him talking, he's like, I knew you'd do it because I've been there too, where you had to prove it regardless of the... Whew. Man. What I love about this, and I'll say it again, I've said it before, what I love about this story going on with Roman is that it throws it in our face what Vince knew all along. We're all going like, oh, wow. Wow, Roman's good now, right? Wow, I didn't know. Wow. That's what all the fans sound like to me. Where Vince is all like, you pieces of shits, I've been fucking telling you.
We saw that at the live event. We were saying how good he was.
Yeah, I've talked about it ever since that live event, like 2 years ago. 3 now, actually, because we missed the 1 year. So, but like 3 years ago, yeah, we're all like, holy shit, we saw this guy live, and it was like different level. Like, what is this? This is, I want this forever. Ooh, we got a new Nightbot. For anybody who's listening on podcast, twitch.tv/wrestling on the rocks to join. We have a new command that says, McInfart go. And there's a Marsh burp counter in there now, which is probably good. We got to keep track.
McInfart go.
Yeah. But yes, I think that for one, Drew is, to me, the top heel in the company. I don't see how they don't get this.
Mhm.
I love watching him get his ass beat. And he is so good at selling, and he is so good in the ring and so clean. I want to see him in matches. I definitely wanted to see him in a match with Roman, but I definitely needed Roman to win this one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I wanted to see him against Randy Orton, but I had to have Randy win. Every match he had where he lost, I was wow, and every match that he won, I was like, God, someone take him down. But the thing is, I didn't not want him on the pay-per-view.
Mhm.
He's amazing, but everything about his character, about his antics, about the way he says things, like, boo this smug asshole. And it seemed like Roman was putting him in his place, and that's what I loved about it. It was all like, all right, you think you're a cocky dude, you think you're cool, you think you're the top shit. I remember that when I was a young boy. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
sorry,
yeah, like when I was a young boy. It's true though. Like I think, and I think we've always heard that it's easier to be heel. A lot of people say that they prefer to work heel or it's easier, and I get it, but this is a level of character work that he's doing that is really fantastic. Even like this isn't just okay, you go be an asshole now. Like the character he's doing, the way he's performing, the way he's acting it's fucking amazing. Him as a face, I don't know what you're expecting in terms of, a developed character. I love when there's a face that has a little bit of an edge to him. But when you're the face of the fucking company, you're the one that kids like or are supposed to like. So they're gonna make you Superman, and that kind of sucks sometimes. In this role, he's fucking great. Like I've come to terms with that and accepted that. Yeah, Roman isn't going to be interesting, or I'm not going to care about him as the face of the company. He's going to be this, but I can love him in this heel role because he's so good. And yeah, him taking Drew to task, him just kind of holding court there, like he's done in every promo. But in this case, it looked like you got a belt. You just got your middleweight belt. That's awesome. Yeah. But now you're challenging the guy who's never lost.
Yeah.
Now.
You know what's cool too? All this stuff going on with Roman, the little dude who I took to the live shows that I've talked about before. I was talking to him not that long ago. He's not as big of a wrestling fan as me at all. But he does put up with it and has a good time with it because I like it and we like spend time together when we can. And I get that too. But he does have his favorites. And I was like, dude, Roman is doing some killer stuff right now. Everyone loves him. And he's all like, dude, I knew that all along. I was like, he's like 13 now, which is crazy to me to begin with. But secondly, I told him, I was like, Roman's killing it. And everyone's talking about how amazing he is. He goes, I've always said he was amazing. I was like, I know. And he was all like, dude, that's obvious. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you've been right all along. It turned out. And we all had to catch up. Somehow the children knew before we did. All of us smart marks thought we knew what was good and best for business the whole fucking time. And the kids were all like, no, that's the guy, idiots.
He will be one way or another. Like, yeah. You have to be the most pure, like, wrestling fan. Like, yeah, it's gonna be Roman.
Yeah.
He's gonna win it.
I was asking Dorkchop in the chat if he likes the belt. He says it looks like it was made for Andre, though. Dude's fuck calling me fat. My own show.
That's a good one.
Jesus.
Way to get constructive with your fat jokes. Good job.
I know. Yeah, right? He's like, does that fit you? Because it looks like you could fit a giant, a literal giant. What? It does fit.
It was like, I was driving my dad around town like a week ago, and he's like, well, what's a good place for food? And he's just kind of asking me, I'm like, well, I don't know what you like. Because, well, you eat a lot. It's, you get a lot of food. I'm like, are you trying to make a positive fat joke? He's like, look, it's not wrong. I'm like,
you lift
words
heavy.
Hurt,
Yeah, words hurt, Dad.
Your knees lift heavy.
Yeah. Oh, and this is Dude, I can't believe I almost forgot about this. This makes it so much fucking better. I got to clip these. I'm going to clip them. Drew McIntyre at the end of that promo goes, Drew, you're my favorite number 2.
Drew McInfart.
Favorite number 2. That's a turd. And not even a week later, Adam Pearce is all like, what up, Drew McInfart?
Yeah.
The number 2.
Adam, don't knock Drew down. He's the shit. Leave him alone.
Yeah. I'm 100% going to I'm going to clip that. He's like, you're my favorite number 2. Champion Drew McInfart? My favorite number 2.
Yes, sir. I'll pack my stuff right away, sir.
Yeah. Grim Reaper brings up a good point. The title belt size complements the size of the urn. I agree. I think Grim Reaper's dead on with that one. Dead man on that one.
I'll leave. I don't have to do.
That is it.
I quit. Bye.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, but yeah, I did love that segment. I'm just going to run through a couple things here. So Seth Rollins did lose to Murphy. I thought that was good. Is this where Mysterio gives him... Yeah, celebrates with the Mysterios afterwards. Came out with a Mysterio. So I do think that we're finding a finality to that. I also think that they're kind of like teetering Seth Rollins right now. Because I think that with his soon-to-be child, I think they are trying to work out I think they're trying to keep him in a light where they can let him disappear for a few months at any given moment. So I think that's why we're seeing a lot of repeat stuff. This is just my personal feeling. You just feel like that you're like, okay, it's kind of a big thing every time he loses, but is it because he's going to be away for a few months and he comes back next week? Oh, okay. Well, they kind of did that again, didn't they? I think that's on purpose. I think they're trying to tell his story, inch it along. He's got a lot of star power. He can teach a lot to the people he's in the ring with. So it's like, why not utilize that talent if you've got it? But they're also trying to, I think, give him the freedom to be able to just disappear for a while when he needs to. That's my gut feeling about it. That's my rumor I've created. That's what makes me a wrestling journalist, is that I can make that shit up and make it fact.
Klump is gone. Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, he lost the internet? He just messaged me. Hey, Dorkchop, you want to jump in?
Wow.
I'll send you a link right now.
It's like Inception right now. Sorry, guys.
Well, I threw it to Klump, and his internet is...
All right, well, what do you want me to do?
I don't know what to do here. This has never happened. We've never not had a person. Hey, Grim Reaper, you want to be on the show?
I'm a person.
Yeah, producer here.
I don't sound like that.
No one said you did.
You're trying to mimic me.
Boop. Boop, boop.
Leo.
Yeah, Dorkchop goes, I'd love to hop on, but I didn't watch any WWE.
Alright, so tell me.
I don't even know what I asked him before. Oh, it was the whole, I made up a rumor about Seth Rollins
Yeah, he did.
disappearing.
That's what makes you an internet journalist.
Yeah, I'm an internet journalist now. I can make shit up as we go. Oh my god.
What else did you like?
If you send me an email, Grim Reaper, I will send you a Zoom link right now and put you on the show. Lee?
Yeah. Oh. Klump's in. Klump's back.
We got Klump back. All right, we're gonna go to a three-man booth.
Klump is back.
Klump!
Yay. Internet
Smells
sucks.
like Klump. It must be us. How you doing, Klump? How's it been?
That was fun. Internet sucks.
I'm gonna let you know right now. Grim Reaper is still joining the show. He's gonna be our 3-man group here.
Nice.
So that was he came in. He came in to swoop the day away.
To save the day.
We don't know that yet.
It is our show. That even in best circumstances, is this saving anything?
Yeah,
This is extending a problem.
exactly. Like sometimes you just got to put it down. It's saying something over Klump's face. Does that mean somebody's in the waiting room? No. Okay. It just said something over his face. I didn't know what it means. Klump, did you hear what I said about Seth Rollins?
That he's leaving because baby?
More or less, I think that's why we keep kind of seeing the way that we're seeing it booked. Is that
Yeah,
it's always
it's meant
something
to,
that can disappear for a while.
Yeah, it's like he had a impactful role in the Survivor Series match, but not a critical role that he has to continue on. Just something where he can, like jump back in when he's ready.
Yeah. I feel like everything he's been doing right now is a is this it? You know what I mean?
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
We got him.
We got him. He's joining.
Boom.
What's going on?
He's on.
Grim.
Okay.
Grim, go
Hello.
ahead. Plug your handle right now. Let people know where they can find you on Twitter.
Twitter. Grimmy for 2185. There you go.
Boom. There it is on Twitter. Hey, Grim, what are you drinking? What's in your glass?
Listen, man, I'm just rocking the seltzer sparkling right now.
Boom. That's 100% all we ask. It's not about what you're drinking. It's about who you're drinking with. You're all caught up now. Now we know the backstory of Grim Reaper from the chat to the screen, straight on the podcast. Guys, if you're listening on the podcast and you want to know how wild being in the chat could be, twitch.tv/wrestling on the rocks. If Klump clumps up, we might just put you on the show, dude. Forget it.
And that's
Hold on,
not uncommon. Yo.
Go ahead, Grim.
I was saying, what's going on, Klump? Hey,
Yo.
welcome back.
Thank you.
He made it back. He fixed his own internet. That's why we like him.
Brought to you by Cox Internet with Gigablast.
With Gigablast. Let's see. So I'm just looking through SmackDown was there any specific highlights, Grim, that you wanted to make sure that you felt like were really notable about SmackDown? Because I'm looking at it. Natalya defeats Tamina. Carmella attacks Sasha for the third straight week, which I'm actually really excited about. The idea of a Sasha Carmella program.
I first things first, I just want to talk about the last chapter for Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Having the match with Murphy and Rollins, that was, of course, a barn burner, as no surprise there. But just how that was the final chapter, and then in Survivor Series we had the final chapter where he's going to be off for a little while now to be a papa. But that match on Friday was awesome.
Dude, they do so well together. It's crazy. Did either of you hear Buddy Murphy on After the Bell?
No.
He talked about how a lot of this program with him and the Messiah and the Disciple, there's a lot of reality based in there, because Murphy's like, I really do want to be the second coming of Seth Rollins. He goes, I want to be that good. I want to be the next best wrestler that's ever been. Like, it was kind of cool just the way he broke it down that way. And then when you see their chemistry in the ring, yeah, phenomenal match. Fantastic. I had no problems with seeing them fight it out again. I don't know. Just seeing even how SmackDown went, do you really think we're not going to see him for the next few months, or do you think he's going to keep popping up until the baby pops up?
That's amazing. Don't be gone until it fires it out.
Right. I think it's well-deserved time off. I mean, he's been on TV and all the way through, even through the injury from a few years ago with his match with Triple H and that whole thing. Like, he's never really taken like a hiatus or a little vacation or something. So he deserves it. So do what he's got to do, be a papa, and then come back fresh.
Yeah, I think it'd be really good. Do you think? No, there's no way. I was about to say, do you think that they make their return on the same kind of week, Becky and Seth? But there's no way. You'd have Seth come back before Becky.
Yeah, I mean, that's wishful thinking, but yeah, no.
Right? Or can you imagine if Seth just sits out for long enough that Becky comes back before Seth? That'll blow everyone's mind.
I think so, because they did try doing that. Was it a year ago where they were both the champions and they tried doing that awkward, like they were tagging together, but they didn't say they were together. They tried to get that energy, but it just never really took off.
Yeah. It didn't. There was a lot going on there, though. I think that the problem was is that I really felt like, I think we talked about it at the time, Seth was just flat out not as good as Becky was when it came to the mic. And he knew it. In the chronicle they did about him, and there was a 24 or something, he talked about it. He goes, she's just so good. He goes, I just wish I could be that good. The audience, and we were part of it, was really on the fence about, do we really like this version of Seth Rollins as our champion? And watching him just be upstaged by Becky didn't do him any favors. And all it really did was make the entire audience, but I don't like to speak for everyone, that it really came off as like, oh, you're really not that good. We really don't like you really do sound phony. We really aren't behind you all of a sudden anymore. And that's what started the whole everybody shitting on Seth thing, which I feel bad about in hindsight. But at the time, I booed the shit out of that guy.
Feel bad now, but not then.
Yeah, not that I feel bad at all.
I was at WrestleMania 35 in New York with when Rollins and Lesnar started off WrestleMania and everything, and it was a lot of the fans around me and everything were just like, kind of like, they're more excited to see Lesnar than, oh, Rollins, okay, he won. Like, just like the fire really wasn't there, no pun intended for Becky, but there wasn't really a connection there. And then as he went along, which, hey, he stuck the landing though, because at the end he used the Monday Night Messiah as kind of his turning point. Oh, the fans never embraced me, so I'm not going to embrace them, and kind of pivoted that way.
Yeah. And I thought it was phenomenal that way. Let's see in the chat real quick. Faptina says, acting is hard. Becky studied seriously in New York City. That's a hell of a place to train in the first place. And Bluebird says, meanwhile, Seth was wrestling, which would explain, obviously Seth is tremendous in the ring, but people just have a hard time getting behind him. I was at Royal Rumble right before that Mania. And when Seth won, actually before Seth even won, everyone around the area was talking about, like, well, it's going to be Seth, right? It has to be Seth. And I was like, why does that have to be Seth? Why can't it be somebody else? And everyone went, well, then who else? And I was like, They're like, yeah, see, so it has to be Seth. And I was like, fuck. And it just felt like we got Seth because there was no other options. What?
I think we still got Graham.
Graham, you still there?
Yep, okay. It went straight just to Klump, but he wasn't talking, so I was like, what happened?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
It's gallery view, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
You're still there, right, Graham?
Sorry.
I'm here. We're good.
All right. Sorry, you gave producer a panic attack.
Sorry.
This is the first show, guys. We're good. This is the first show.
It's just the first
This
show.
is the test.
Yeah. Just a dry run. Let's see. Okay, so yeah. All that Daniel Bryan and what about the tease of Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title?
I think that'd be a fantastic fucking match.
Can you imagine those promos back and forth? I mean, they did so well when it was Sami KO and Daniel Bryan and that whole segment on SmackDown as it was going. Yeah, they teased that backstage, and I can't believe right now what's going on with Sami Zayn. The second he came back, the first thing I said was like, oh my God, he interrupted Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles. We're going to get Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title. It's going to be incredible. Then it happened. And then now they're teasing him and Daniel Bryan. I was like, oh my God. They're like, it's all my booking dreams come true in the Intercontinental title realm.
Yeah.
No. And then Daniel Bryan beat Jey Uso, so. Anything about SmackDown that you guys wanted to highlight? We'll start with Klump.
I get the idea of Jay, like, yeah, he needs to lose to further the storyline, but I was like, man, I want Jay to be continually featured in this spot. Jay's awesome. Keep featuring Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want Jay in the main event stuff. Grim, what did you think?
Yes, awesome match. Surprise, right? No. Really, I'm looking forward to what you're talking about with Sammy and Daniel Bryan. I mean, those are going to be fire matches. But then also one other part too, just to shift over to the women's division. I'm not going to lie, I'm liking the refresh with Carmella. I like it. So just as a kind of a feud between her and Sasha, she's getting the upper hand over Sasha over the last few weeks. I'm feeling it. I know it's kind of a wait and see approach. We'll see how it goes when they get in the ring and have a match or two. So, but so far so good on just, again, the repackaging of Carmella and, shooting her to the top.
Yeah. I want Carmella to have the match at TLC. I want it also to go to Rumble. I do want a 2-month program with Carmella and Sasha Banks. I think the two of them could carry it. I think it'd be incredible. You can maybe even add a third person to kind of shake it up a little bit, but I don't think you need that. I really want to see the two of them for a while. I want to see
Charlotte will show up and just jump in.
God damn it.
No.
Said Charlotte.
No, I know we don't. I'm sorry. We'll see.
Do you ever want to get on here again?
Yeah.
I know.
Klump's like, you don't watch this show.
Oh, I do. I know. I know your love for Charlotte, so you know.
Yeah.
Be nice.
It was so funny.
Be nice.
I'm just gonna throw this out there real quick.
God damn it.
I mean, I've put over Sam already on the show, but so Sam does the Zoom calls before some of the pay-per-views, and we had the one before Survivor Series, and someone talked about how many title reigns that Charlotte had. And I was all like, yeah, but fucking 3 of them are bullshit. They just tagged on the fucking NXT title. And he's all like, why is Marsh so hot about Charlotte? And I'm like, well, because it messes with Bayley's title reigns. He goes, oh, okay. He's like, now I see. He goes, I couldn't figure out why Marsh is so hot about Charlotte's title reigns. Well, if you count it for Charlotte, count it for Bayley. Bayley doesn't have enough accolades. That's how I feel. Was it literally probably the only thing she hasn't done at this point is won the Rumble? Right? That and maybe like literally main event WrestleMania?
God damn it.
But she's retained at Mania and she's also won at Mania, right? So anyways.
I could just
Huh?
You won't settle until it's like she's like when will Marsh stop when she's got AEW, WWE, NWA, like they just stack champions on her and you're just like, okay. Now president.
Yeah, she needs to look like Ultimo Dragon. Just like, is that a boxing championship? Yeah, she got it. I don't know, man.
That
She beat
picture,
Mayweather.
that Ultimo Dragon picture is legendary, though. All the titles.
It is. And I love when people homage it. But I do think sometimes people neglect to reflect back at the Ultimo Dragon and look at the titles he's holding in that. Because a lot of like indie guys will be like, look I'm like Ultimo Dragon. And they hold like a dozen titles out from companies that barely exist. And some of the titles don't even have metal on it. It's just a leather thing. And you know what I mean? It's like, okay, but the Ultimo Dragon picture, when you look at it, like the NWA title is in there like twice. Like there's prestigious titles on there, Japanese titles and stuff that you go, oh shit. It's like it's just my thought. I think there's a lot more respect there for Ultimo Dragon than just like, look, I got a bunch of belts too. Okay, but what belts? Titles, championships. I don't know what they say in other countries. I don't.
Straps.
Before we move on to Survivor Series, Grim Reaper, is there anything else you want to talk about on SmackDown?
Oh, let's roll into Survivor Series.
Cool. Klump?
Survivor Series, dude.
All right. I feel like I should have said something like that, like a judge would say, or like that you'd say like ceremony, and
Ting,
thus
ting.
it has been said, kind of a deal. You know what I mean?
Survivor Series has the conch. Survivor
The
Series has the conch.
dual-branded Battle Royal is how the Survivor Series Best of the Best started. It ended up, the last 3 in the ring was Miz, Dominic, and Chad Gable, yeah? I love Chad Gable in the new gear. I loved the idea of Dominic potentially winning the Battle Royal. I hated it ended in the same exact way that every Battle Royal has ended in the past dozen Battle Royals, where you wait for someone to get knocked out towards the end, and then you go, oh, well, then they're just going to come back in and throw the other person out when they think they won. It makes that person look so stupid at this point. Because it happens every one, right? But Dominic, I think, can afford looking stupid. He's new.
It was weird to me that how far he, like, I was like, okay, so they're just going to, like, are they really going to let Dominic win? And then, like, oh, no, Miz. But, yeah, Dominic can look stupid. Because it would feel weird, like, oh, yeah, this is totally not worth shit. We just give it to Dominic.
Well, I mean, I think Dominic is, I think that's the kind of win you can give to a Dominic to establish that he's getting there without giving him an actual fucking title right now. But I also think that it made Dominic look extra stupid because he's the one who pushed Miz out under the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew. He had to know, or he's stupid. And then he threw him out, and he goes, "Yeah, I remember 2 minutes, like less than a minute ago, when I rolled out Miz. I'm that dumb." Okay.
Yeah, that
Graham?
I didn't even catch that.
You didn't catch that, Graham?
No,
what do you think?
You know, I think about it the other way. Miz, the dastardly heel at the end, just, oh, I fooled everybody, whether Dominic was stupid or not. He took advantage of the situation, right? But also for me, it was hey, the Miz won this battle royal. Oh, he's gearing up here, and he has the Money in the Bank contract. He could show up during Survivor Series. Like, it's giving the pomp and circumstance of the Miz and leveling him up a little bit. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on fire. He's winning battle royals. You never know. Look, if Miz can outsmart Dominic, he could take down Drew McInfart. Maybe. I like your take. Klump, was there something else you're going to say about that?
He could take that. I didn't even catch that Dominic kicked him under the fucking ropes. So I was going to give him some credit. I was like, yeah, somebody else fucked it up. But given that, I don't know if he can overcome this because we just royally fucked him.
It's so stupid, man. If he wasn't the one, like you said, if he wasn't the one who clearly pushed him out, he rolled back in, and then he pushed him back out underneath the bottom rope, I'd be like, oh, maybe he just didn't see it. But he did it. He literally is the one who did it. He goes, I'm just going to roll you underneath here. Come on. Come on, stupid.
Kind of
but
George
at the same
Daniels,
time,
Steel Kamala shit is that.
What I would hope would happen is I hope that backstage Dominic is sitting in the back and Miz walks by him and just goes, "You're so fucking stupid."
Stupid piece of shit. And just walks off here.
Yeah.
This is predetermined. Dumb motherfucker.
Miz walks by right as Rey Mysterio's walking in. Mysterio looks at him and just goes, "It's the stupidest shit you've ever done, boy."
I don't have a son.
Yeah, how stupid can you be? Dan, it's my first battle royal. It's gonna be your last. You keep acting like that, kid.
Murphy, you can't
I got some
date
pole
Lee
around
anymore.
here.
Murphy, you can't date Lee anymore because now you're my son. Just
Yeah.
off Dominic.
Yeah. Hey, Murphy, I want to see how you look with a hoodie. No reason. Let's see. After that, we had the Men's Survivor Series match. Okay, so this was the blowout match. This was where Raw just beat the shit out of every top star that SmackDown has.
Yeah.
Minus Roman. But literally every other top star.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess Daniel Bryan's not in there.
It
So you
was,
protected
yeah.
Daniel Bryan and Roman. And then the rest of them be damned.
Yeah.
After Rollins got, he sacrificed himself. I'm like, oh, that's it. Because Rollins was the only one out of the SmackDown team that I felt like could have been a stopper right there, maybe got 1 or 2 eliminations. So once he gave himself up, I'm like, well, that's it.
Really?
Apparently-
I thought Corbin is strong enough and he hated enough that he could have taken out someone like a Keith Lee to get a shitload of booze.
Yeah, but I didn't think they were going to do that because Corbin's also strong enough as a heel where you could just he can take losses. Like he is he's got loss bulletproof vest. I was looking at it when Rollins gave himself up. I was like, okay, one of these is not like the other, and now this formula doesn't work out. Oh man.
Yeah.
Are they going to push KO? I don't think they're going to push KO this hard. We just kind of said fuck it to Otis. Man.
I do think. I mean, the Raw team was stacked, and I did like that they still protected a lot of the SmackDown guys' finishes because they used multiple people from the Raw team to break up each one of those pinfall attempts.
Yes.
It was done after a big finish.
They
That's
felt like a
usually
team.
protected. You're just kind of like, okay, it's like the whole team is all like, fuck. Exactly, Clump. They felt like a team trying to protect each other. Where with SmackDown, they're just kind of like, dude, the way they're just watching Seth as he just goes to his knees, greater good, and sits down. And they're all like, what the fuck is he doing? And then they just let him do it. And then you're just all like, no one was going to, okay, no one stop him. I thought that was wild, though. What do you think, Klump, we'll start with you. Where do you think you go with, what is the greater good that involves Seth having to sacrifice himself? Is he going to come back and not be the Messiah anymore? Is that the end of the Messiah? Did he get bro kicked out?
The greater good is not being an absentee father. He realized that if he won, he'd be in something.
Yeah. If I win this match, I have a whole nother program, and that's 3 months out.
The greater good is I'm burying any shit storyline you're in. We're gonna restart this.
It's strictly a creative greater good. This is how we have to end that storyline and let me be a father. Otherwise, it's continue the storyline and be an absentee father. So, like, literally personal greater good, not storyline greater good.
Yeah. All of you. Otis, I'm looking at you specifically. Lay down. It's over, buddy.
Stop. Just stop.
You had a run. You had a moment. Moment is over. Yeah. KO, you can weather this.
Yeah, KO, you'll be just fine. Trust me. Go! Grim, what do you think?
I think it was kind of like the last line that the villain has before he gets killed by the hero. It's kind of like, just like that last little quip or that line before the final shot. So he just kind of looked back. He went, for the greater good. And then he just gets knocked out from the boot from Sheamus. So I don't think I don't know if there might be a connection to when he comes back and everything, but I just think it was just like, because he got beat by Mysterio, beat by Murphy, and he's just like, you know what, I'm done. And he just gets taken out of his misery, essentially, and he'll be back later on.
Do you think it was also him just not trusting any of those other stars to pull through? Do you think it was like, we don't stand a chance here and you guys don't see that?
This is me making an executive decision. You're all terrible.
Kind of. Like, do you think there's part of it? You know what I mean? Like, he just looks at the team and goes, there's just no way that we collectively, as we are, can actually defeat any of these people, and I'm not going to sit here and destroy myself for it, so I'm going to sacrifice myself for it instead and just move this along.
Yeah, Otis can't even win a goddamn court case in a fake court.
Well, I mean, bribery, dude. Graham, what do you think?
No, again, just I think the team cohesion, again, Raw just seemed, especially AJ Styles, the cheerleader. He dubbed himself the leader and everything. Especially with Omar behind him too. I'm sure he has extra confidence there. But Raw gelled better. You could just see how SmackDown was disarrayed.
Yeah, I could definitely be part of it. Do you think that Seth comes back without the Messiah gimmick, or no? Do you think he comes back with the Messiah gimmick just turned up a little bit?
The flip of the coin.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I don't see it coming back, but I could get that, but I don't see it coming back.
Yeah. All right, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited about it. I thought Seth was one of the more enjoyable things in that, just because it was such a standout thing. So I'm part of the WWE Fan Council, because that's what I do when you shill this hard. And they sent me a survey about Survivor Series, and I asked what I thought was the most shocking moment. And they had a bunch of stuff on there, and one of the things was Seth Rollins kneeling down and taking a loss. And I was like, yeah, I'll vote for that. I definitely didn't see that coming. Other things I could argue with, like, oh, it's a variation of this or that. I was like, sure. Like, over 20%, it was the highest voted thing, was Seth just taking a knee and saying for the greater good. So a lot of people did not see it coming. A lot of the fan council, at least. Sorry, guys. New Day versus Street Profits. Here's the deal. I want to get you guys' take on this real quick. So Street Profits win this one. It's a good match. Street Profits look better than they've looked in a while. They look like they've actually coordinated some things. Dawkins still moves slow and does that weird trampoline spin into the corner. I wish he would just drop, because then Ford does it too, and it looked better than Dawkins. And you're like, Dawkins, it's your move, man. Stop. Either way, this is all a big showing, right? So the new guys coming up. A lot of this has been about the new wave of people. At this point, Kofi probably doesn't have another contract left in him. Big E might not have another contract left in him. They might. But they've been doing it a long time, and they talked about it in their podcast. They're not sure how much longer they want to go.
Yeah.
So they got to put over the new talent, obviously, and that makes sense. And Street Profits looked good in here. The way I view Survivor Series and the way I've looked at it for a long time, and I don't think that this is an exception whatsoever, is it's a casually viewed pay-per-view. To me, it's buckled with Thanksgiving and not on accident, on the idea of like, oh, we can all get together on Thanksgiving and just put on that wrestling pay-per-view that just happened. What was it? Survivor Series. Yeah, let's put it on. What is it? Well, it's the champions from both shows just fighting to see who's the best. Okay, cool. But there's no real story. There's no real investment. There's no huge payoff. It's casual to say like, oh, this is who's on Raw. This is who's on SmackDown. And if you see someone you like, now you know where to go watch them. But it seems like a real casual, low-stakes pay-per-view. But it's always guaranteed to have incredible matches because I feel like that this more than WrestleMania, I feel like Survivor Series is for the casual viewer. Just watch our top stars have great matches, and then please watch more shows after this.
See,
Survivor Series was always a part of the Big Four, and the obvious. I think just looking at it, I mean, first up, Royal Rumble is what it is. I mean, it's the Royal Rumble match itself. Always has the magic, right? And then WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Well, WrestleMania is always that pinnacle. And then for a long time, it was SummerSlam is the WrestleMania of the summer that's been coined, right? So those three pay-per-views themselves have been up on these pedestals. So Survivor Series was kind of dwindling. But lately, some life has been put back into it again to be a Big Four pay-per-view. But I get what you're saying, where they're trying to, put more stars or trying to put more for the casual viewer to get more viewers to build up the pay-per-view again.
Because also, what more do you need to know? Here's the world champion here and the universal champion here. They're going to fight. Someone's going to win. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, where with even WrestleMania, you go, well, how do we get here? How do we get to Roman versus Drew at WrestleMania? Well, you see, 7-8 months ago, Roman had this whole thing. Then Roman comes back. And now Drew said this and this whole thing. And you got a whole video package to try to explain the story. Where with Survivor Series, you go, oh, it's this two champions. Two champions are going to fight. And you go, okay, yeah, I want to see that. If they're both champions, they're both got to be good, right? So let's watch it. Like, to me, it's as casual as it gets.
Exactly.
Sorry if I'm being loud. I feel like I'm being loud.
Okay.
It's this proper number 12. But all that to say, with as casual as it can be to see, I do think that we get some of the best matches at Survivor Series. We still talk about AJ Brock and Brock Bryan and Charlotte Ronda. Like, I mean, there's like incredible matches that happen on these cards all the time. And I don't think that New Day and Street Profits was a huge exception. I didn't watch it the first go around. I did rewatch it to see it, and I was impressed. I liked it. I know Kevlar would have loved it that Street Profits came out with a blue cup. He's been dying for that since they moved to SmackDown. We'll start with Grim. What did you think of this match?
Solid, hard-hitting. I mean, in the beginning, too, the whole respect thing, they start out having fun, like, all right, we're in this together, let's do it. And then just the turn up to 11 at that point. A lot of good, I think Dawkins had to play more of the lumbering, bigger guy in the match because they're all small. You don't have Big E to have that role, right? So I think he was just a little more lumbering a little bit, just being like the bruiser, if you will, going through the match. But overall, though, I mean, I'm glad the Street Profits got this win. I don't say they needed it, but I think that catapults them up even more. I mean, the New Day, over 6 years as a stable, as a team, I mean, they have the credibility. They could take the loss here, but a win over them gives more credibility to the Street Profits, especially since the Street Profits been on the main roster now for about a year or so. And I think this is one of the biggest victory that they've had on the main roster.
I agree, and I think it also, in a sense, legitimizes the title swap that was so weirdly done. Where it's like, well, we're the champions on this one, so why don't we just trade these? And Adam Pearce is like, as the president and owner of WWE, yes, trade these, no takesy backsies. And they swap the titles. I feel like Street Profits getting the win here actually kind of legitimized that to a degree where you're like, well, if they can beat the New Day, then yeah, they could be a champion, I guess, on any brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think they needed it, to be quite honest. I know that they're very popular. I don't like them one bit. But I thought this match was great. And I thought they did an awesome job in here, and I thought it did lend a lot of credibility to them. I wish that Montez Ford got the pin, but just because Dawkins looks very gassy, and that's kind of my gimmick. I feel like you could put
of farts.
a fart track underneath Dawkins' moves. He's the original Drew McInfart.
Just have somebody play a trombone as he's in the ring. Like
Oh,
not like
can you
New Day,
imagine?
but like or a tuba, like
Yeah.
do.
Foghorn. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take it there. Klump, what'd you think of the match?
I thought it was maybe my favorite Street Profits match. I think they all work together. I loved the entrance for the Big E or for the New Day.
With the Gears of War.
Yes, like
So
that's
good.
awesome. I liked seeing Big E come out with them, but then kind of also like I don't know of a way they could have done this without it. I hope that they continue to work with the idea of, well, you came out with the other side, like on Friday.
Oh, it was great. No, because he was just supporting his buddies, but he also didn't stay there. He wasn't ringside. I thought it was perfect. Have him come out,
Yeah.
have him go out there with everybody, and then have him take all of that armor back to the backstage and stay back
Carry
there.
this shit.
Yeah, someone's got to get that back there again, and that's just
Yeah.
heavy stuff.
But I think my favorite Street Profits match, I think they did a good job here. I liked the kind of tenor of it, like that it didn't turn into a fight, like a feud, as a more of a handoff. I like that a lot. I liked the Montez kind of realize they connected Montez and Kofi over and over again in terms of how they performed and having Montez try and go for the Trouble in Paradise. Very good.
Yeah.
What's a
that's
better
good
way to
call.
hand off? Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that is that the New Day was working as the heels in this match, and when Montez went for the Trouble in Paradise, it bothered the shit out of the producer. She's like, "Oh, come on, that's not your move."
Calm down, champ.
that was
Wrestling.
Yeah. Hey,
Just
hey,
hey.
stay off of that. Stop it. So that was the heel thing there. Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. Anything else about that match either of you wanted to make sure you would talk about? I just don't want to breeze through it without you guys saying anything you wanted to say. I think you guys said it. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn for the battle of best of the best. This to me was the most fun I
have
had.
a stroke?
It happens, dude.
Ah.
Every episode one, I have a stroke. Dude, Bobby and Sammy, this was the most fun I had watching any match. This was the most fun match, I thought. Sami Zayn is hysterical. And the way he was trying to egg on the Hurt Business to do stuff and get the ref to be watching, so good, dude.
I love the trip. The trip was my favorite bit. Just fuck it, we're doing this.
Yeah. Oh, come on. And then he gets thrown in. He's like, ref!
Help me!
Yeah, and that in the trip, the MVP did even on the replay, you're like, did he even touch his feet?
Yeah.
Did Sammy even actually successfully trip over MVP, or did he trip next to MVP?
Mm-hmm.
So funny. Sammy's so good. He is such a callback to Andy Kaufman to me. And he's so good at this. And then he cuts this promo in the back on WWE exclusive.
Awesome. So good.
So incredible, dude. And he was just going in about, it's just like the United States to do it this way. And how political he got in that exclusive. I thought two things. One, I thought this is perfect because so many WWE fans are right-wing that they are going to eat this shit up and hate him for being anti-America. But B, a lot of those WWE fans are not on social media. So they're going to miss that promo.
Yes.
But it's so good. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was really to feed us that are going to appreciate that promo on a different level. But it also, I was appreciating the idea that he could get so political with it in such an, I don't know, it's just so good. Such a good, well-spoken way. Graham, what did you think about this?
What I like continuity in storylines, and the fact that he went back to the Vertigo,
Yes,
with and because this happened, what was it, maybe a year or two ago, something like that, where a match with Bobby Lashley caused him to have vertigo, and then he used the same tactic again. Just be like, I have vertigo. So just, just a nice callback to continuity. That's how good Sammy is with his character, and just making sure he's, just keeping it, again, continuity. So I just really like that. Like you said, Marsh, that this was a fun match. It really was. I mean, it was what it was. I mean, we knew that, Sammy versus Bobby Lashley. I mean, there had to be a lot of character to this match. I'll say that.
Oh, for sure. And Sammy was so believably obnoxious in this that there was a lot of times you thought Sammy's going to get the win on this. He is going to get these guys to just punch this asshole. He's going to get this. There was a lot of times he was so close that you're like, they're going to break. They can't not break on this guy. He's such a dick. Which I think that in a match of Sammy versus Bobby Lashley, to get to a point where you drive your character so far in that we start believing you might actually win this on a technicality. That's it, dude. That's pro wrestling.
Hell yeah.
You want to never know who's going to win. And with Sammy matches, he always comes off like, yeah, but he might pull this off.
I don't know how.
Yeah. I don't know how. That motherfucker swallowed a handcuff ring. Or key. Yo, I want so bad to know what it was like when Sammy went to Jeff Hardy to be like, okay, I've got an idea for the match. Hear me out. Hold on. I know it's going to just...
You're not going to like this, but...
Yeah, it's not... You're not going to like... Oh, it's one time. Only one time. We won't even practice it. But we'll do it right. I'm telling you. Just hold on. Just listen. What if... Because you got the ear thing. No, hold on. You got the ear thing. I think that with handcuffs... You're getting ahead of me. You know what I mean? Like... the idea of Sammy trying to convince Jeff Hardy to just handcuff a ladder to his head via ear hole. I want to hear that conversation. Just be in the room, across the room, just all like, oh my God, he's going to say yes. They're both lunatics.
We really should not let them go together. God
Yeah.
damn it, WWE.
Someone stop the match. Hasn't even started. Stop it.
We got bolt cutters, right?
Yeah.
We don't? Oh, no. No.
Can you imagine how they're like putting it together in the back and someone just goes, who put these lunatics in a match together? They're going to do crazy shit. Sorry, Graham.
So imagine it be Jeff's idea. Hey, Sammy, listen, I got this idea.
I'll go.
I've thought that there's a distinct possibility of that, but I do think I saw somewhere or heard somewhere where Jeff said, okay, I'm not doing any more stuff with the ear. Which made me think that maybe he was convinced.
The fuck you aren't.
But also he might have been like, okay, I've gone too far in my own decision making. Someone needs to stop me. I almost asked Sammy that. I did the meet and greet with Sammy, and we were talking about stuff, and that was the one thing I thought about asking him that I just didn't get around to asking him, where I was like, where did the handcuffing Jeff's head to a ladder, how did that conversation happen? Like, who approached who, and how much apologies did it have in the middle? But yeah, Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley, incredibly fun. Such a good match. And again, if this is a casual fan pay-per-view, how perfect is this? To be like, this guy's crazy. Of course I want to see more of this. Let's see this. So it only brings us to a couple more matches left. We have Sasha Banks versus Asuka, which was awesome. It's exactly what you expect. I mean, we've seen them time and time again, and you never not want to see it. I mean, Asuka and Bayley we saw a dozen times, and it was never all like, oh, this again? You're just like, oh, yeah, this again. And I feel like the same thing with Sasha and Asuka. What was that called?
I mean, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, it's because you're a dick.
Yeah, it's exactly. I got a character to maintain.
Yeah.
Branding.
I mean, I don't know what there is to say about this match that isn't just obvious. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean that in a mean way at all. Just so much like, it's Asuka and Sasha. Would you think it wasn't going to be amazing?